You're listening to Saucy and Friends in the morning with Miss Hot Sauce, Miss Tony, and Rockstone Triz.
And good morning. Welcome back. Well, welcome to me, because I think I just started speaking and I didn't say good morning to you guys. So mind my manners. Good morning, Spark FM, Spark Nation. Thank you guys for accepting me here on this show today. And thank you, Rockstone Triz and Miss Tony, for holding us down. We'll get into the story about why I was late a little bit later. However, today we have a very, very, very special person in the building. We're excited to have her out because we're all here on Spark FM in the morning. Between me, Tony, and Tristan with our movies and our recommendations and the series that we watch all the time. You would think that that's all we do with our lives. That's all I would like to do with my life. But we brought you guys real movie, short film producers, creators, organizers. We love the theater here. Yeah. And we love you. So welcome, Tonia. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. The energy is just amazing in this room. I love it. I don't need coffee. I just need this.
You just need us. That's it. Come visit anytime. So Tonia, just tell us a little bit about, and is your name pronounced Tonia or Tonia?
Tonia.
Tonia.
Yes.
That's how I like to pronounce it, but I'm like, maybe it's just not that. But yes, tell us a little bit about you and just what you do.
Yeah, I am the Chief Operating Officer for Hull Bay Productions. This is a production company that my husband and I launched over 10 years ago. We have 3 films, and we have 2 new projects in development. It's a small production company, but I don't say that we're small. We're only small in size, but not in impact.
Yeah.
And our mission and the stories that we tell and the things that the projects and stuff that we like to do, we want to inform, impact, and inspire. Yeah. So that's really the basis of the work that my husband Greg and I do. And I am a filmmaker at heart. I spent 25 years in television news here in Boston at WGBH. And
you're still there?
I am there part-time. I'm back, yes, helping in the new renovation, if you will, of Basic Black called GBH News Rooted. And with Paris Alston, who is just a rock star. She's a rock star. So yeah, we're revamping the show. It actually launches on television next week, April 8th at 7:30. So tune in.
Definitely will. But back to you, because this is exciting. What made you decide to get into film production and then just like you do production? Like, why?
Yeah. My grandmother was a huge influence on me. She took me to theaters and to movie theaters and to actual theaters. She introduced me to content and history. She loved musicals. I remember watching the Stormy Weather with her, I don't know how many times, and, growing up with admiration for all of these wonderful Black storytellers. Mm-hmm. But it was in 1973 when my family and I all sat down in front of the CBS television and watched Roots, which is the unprecedented, highest rated show that has ever run on television. And it really impacted me at that young age, but I always wanted to tell stories. Yeah. I used to write stories as a kid. I was always involved in some kind of storytelling, and that's really what my passion is. And so that's why we launched Hull Bay Productions, and which brings me to the story that I am now telling of my own.
So yes. So Do You Remember Me is your latest project and a film that you have been nominated for awards and accepted into film festivals. Tell us a little bit about this project.
Do You Remember Me is my true story based on being raped by 4 football players when I was 18 years old back in 1987 in college. I was a freshman in college. This individual, Dale, was my friend. We were both athletes. I did play basketball. I know I'm little, but I had game.
And still got it. And hands, yeah.
So we were both athletes, and most of the athletes, it was a Division I school, University of Miami in Florida. And so we all hung out. It was kind of like the community of athletes. So this friend turned into a monster and took something that was, it broke me. It broke me.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
Like
It
in
was-
the
it was
ultimate form.
In
Yeah.
the ultimate form.
Yeah.
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 And so the story really tells about the longevity of trauma and how we deal with it, how we move through it, what it looks like,
And it manifests.
how it manifests, and but also hopefully a little bit of inspiration, because I'm all right. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm still moving. I'm still doing. And what I wasn't able to do then was to finish school. And so in 45 days, I'm going to be graduating with a Bachelor of Science
Blessing.
from
Yeah.
Fitchburg State University.
That's so,
Oh,
that's
Yeah.
first
Wow.
of all, I am, just gut wrenching
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
even hear you say that. I'm intrigued by the process that you went through to make this film. The trauma that you had to relive, like the, just the, what is it called? The trauma of just reliving that situation over again, and probably more times than
Yeah,
so,
like
because-
how was that for you with making and writing, directing this film to have to go through that?
Well, my husband has invested in Kleenex stocks because I needed a lot of that. I have become a very strong person based on my faith and the love for my husband and my family. I have such an amazing support system. My pastors, my church family, my family, my children. So I knew going into it that I had the support and the love that I needed. But I never imagined how hard it would be. So we shot over 6 days last August, and I knew the first scene that I wanted to film and get it out of the way was the scene where Nikki, the protagonist, the 18-year-old Nikki in the film, she goes to Dale's dorm, and that's where the rape happens. We did not shoot a rape scene, but in the process, as the director, I had to go into the dorm and kind of like help move the furniture to the way I imagined it. I had not been in a dorm room since that happened. And that hit me like a Mack truck. And that took, and I had encouraged my crew. I said, whatever happens with me, don't stop. Because I trusted them. They trusted me, and I knew that I would need my space and my ability to kind of go through things. And so they didn't stop. They're like, we got this. And they set everything up. And there were a lot of those moments in production, even in the editing process, having to look at the story. I can't tell you how many times I had to look at this film until it was complete. Right. And there's still a scene at the end of the film that I can't watch. I will like step away or close my eyes or something.
Was there anything in doing this project and completing it that maybe was healing for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't know how to like really ask that question, because I was like, while you're going through this, you're actually reliving it, you're, processing it, like, how did that help you personally to direct it?
I took my power back.
Yeah. Love it.
I took my power back.
Yes.
It's my story. I told it the way I wanted to tell it. I did it the way I wanted to do it. And that's part of my power back. The thing with trauma when it comes to sexual violence, and, there's so much in the news right now, right? We're dealing with Diddy every other week with some new accuser
every day
or something every day, right? And obviously the R. Kelly situation and, Harvard Weinstein, like there's, Jeffrey Epstein, we hear all of these stories, right? But what we don't pay attention to really is the trauma of what sexual violence does to an individual. Because there are they're triggers, and
Yeah.
not just mental and emotional triggers.
Yeah.
They're physical triggers.
Yeah.
Like, if you grab me the wrong way,
Yeah.
we may fight. You know,
Yeah.
Probably smells, scenes,
everything,
yeah.
music.
Yeah.
You know, because this was 87. Like, the music from that time will bring me right back there.
Yeah.
But also in this is the ability to heal and live
Mhm.
through it. You know, people come up to me and they're like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so this. And that feels like really weird to me
Yeah.
because, I'm not, I don't, this shouldn't have happened to me,
Mhm.
period. Right. So, me taking my power back to tell my story. Okay, great. You can commend me for that, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It's never going to go away, but my ability to compartmentalize it and put it where it needs to be at certain times
Yeah.
is something that I've learned to do.
What
Go
made
ahead.
you want to tell the story?
Yeah.
I think it was absolutely the influence of Professor Rochelle Dermer, who was my first writing professor when I went back to school in the fall of 2022. And she had this assignment called A Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
And I said, well, damn.
It sounds like me. Yeah.
I feel like it's time,
Mhm.
and when I wrote it and when she said it and when she read it and she had tears and we read in front of the class and everyone had tears, and I knew that, okay, all right, it's okay for me to do this because I'm getting the support and it's being received in the intent that I want it to be. So
I commend you, and I think it's so awesome that you recognize that you are the hero in your own story.
Yeah, that's
and you were able to write about yourself
love that.
as the hero. That's ultimate
you.
healing.
I love that.
Amazing.
I wanted to know how long it took you to come to terms of the actual sexual assault.
I haven't.
Mm.
I mean, it's been 38. It'll be 38 years
38
on May 4th.
Yeah.
And I have it, but I will always know that I am the victor in this story.
Yeah.
So when you watch the film, which is out on YouTube right now, Do You Remember Me?
I sent it to you guys.
Paul Bay Productions Media Channel. When you watch the film, at the beginning of the film, you see this conversation happening over social media, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So I got a friend's suggestion from Dale. And
I was going to ask about this, but
Somebody suggested him as a friend to you.
yes.
oh, I thought he was suggest. I was like, oh, honey, we
Oh,
gonna
No. So we so he had so it was a friend suggestion, and I looked at him, and then I started, stalking his social media accounts, and I looked at everything, and I started screenshotting things. He's got 4 daughters. He lives in Montana. I know where he works. I know where he lives. I know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I said, do you remember me? That was my first question to him.
Oh.
The
And
name
he
of
would-
the
The name of the film. And his response was, I still have them on my phone. And he was just like, hey, yeah, how you doing? And then my next question was, do you remember what you did to me? And then he responded with a question mark. And this plays out in the film as well.
Yeah.
It's the entire film is 100% factual.
Yeah.
And then I said, and then I started to remind him of it, and then immediately blocked. He blocked me on.
Do you think
every
he didn't
single-
know?
He knew, but he probably tried to believe that she would be over it.
Yes.
And that it's not a big deal because that was so long ago.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
that's what you talked about. People don't realize the trauma that happens in sexual assault that literally goes with you for the rest of your life.
Rest of your life.
God.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so, so he's blocked, but I have all the information I need to have.
Yeah.
So my husband, obviously is just like, why would you keep that? And, it gives me a little bit of power Now you're running.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
you're scared.
right, yeah.
'Cause
Now you
where
know
I
that it's
am.
outside.
Yes.
And that people,
Yeah.
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 Did you shield the names in the video in the movie?
I changed my name to Nikki
Mhm.
because my sister's middle name is Nicole, and my sister is amazing. She's my best friend, and so yeah. And I
That's
my
how she feels about me.
and my stepfather, who's an attorney, he said, you know what? I want to protect you. I know how much you want to say his real name. His real name is Dale Dawkins. I use Dale Hawkins in the film. Yeah. So
I'm trying to bring up the trailer.
I'm
right
so
now. Okay, so
happy
here,
for
hold on
you
1 second.
taking
Oh, no, it's
back your power.
Yeah.
in
I'm
this.
talking your mic.
Huh?
Yeah.
Talking your
Yeah,
mic.
no, I said I'm so happy for her taking back her power in this, like using his name. That is
Yeah.
your name.
Yeah.
And you know what you did.
Yeah.
Right.
And you should
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And people should
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
This we're gonna take a little pause. We're gonna play the trailer of the film, and then it's not.
The audio's coming up. Just so you know.
Hold on 1 second. No, I think this is it.
Oh,
Yeah.
here we go, here we go,
Yeah.
here we go.
We're gonna play the trailer for the movie just so that you guys can see it. Tell us where it's gonna be played, where we can see it, how we can support you while we bring this up.
yeah, we the film is now out on YouTube. So if you Google, search rather, do you
Mhm.
remember me and Hull Bay Productions Media Channel? That's
Mhm.
our YouTube channel. It's right there. And I decided upon releasing this, it's a 20-minute film, so please watch it.
Mhm.
It really has a great message to it, and you are supporting me by watching it. But we're going to use this as what is called a proof of concept.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a feature-length film
Oh,
of this.
wow.
And so
Good, yeah.
anyone out there who knows Halle Berry's 606 Film Production Company,
Mhm.
please hit me up. Anyone knows Octavia Butler's film production company, and of
Yeah.
course, if you have Oprah Cell, hit me up. Because I want to do something bigger
Yeah.
with this, and I think the true story
have to
of
call Tyler Perry.
Nikki's, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nikki's trajectory, how she got from that 18-year-old who was broken. I was broken. I was broken physically. I had injuries that lasted for years
Yeah.
that didn't heal.
And did you have a relationship with the person before this happened?
We were
He's a best
friends.
friend. Yeah,
like,
We were
really, really
friends.
great
wow.
That was my
Yeah.
guy.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
you know,
I mean, Wonder dropped in here that 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted on college campuses.
Mhm.
And then there was another very interesting question, but let's play the trailer first, and then we'll end with those two comment questions.
Wow.
Even the trailer was when I was watching it. I think when you send it to me, because I thought that was like, oh, it's a short one. I watched it and I was just like, it leaves so much
It's
to
impactful.
wonder. Yeah, like I now need to go and watch the film because I want to see the dynamic between these two people and what happened. And I'm just, constantly thinking about it, like imagining being you and watching my amazing production and my hard work and my talent and my skill go through this and still understanding that this is actually my story that I am telling. So
Right.
Like
you
being
know,
really
I commend
proud
you.
and
Yeah.
really, really sad at the same time.
Yeah. So I had a question in here, and this doesn't necessarily relate to the film, but it does. In this culture surrounding, is the culture surrounding aggravated assault or rape better or worse than it was 25 years ago? With social media, my feeling is that we minimize it by saying boys will be boys,
Yes.
or praising female teachers who, touch students and whatever.
Mhm.
How do you feel like the times have changed since like before then the Me Too movement, and now where we are now?
I think we're better.
Mhm.
I think that what we don't pay enough attention to is the healing of the victim.
Yeah.
That it's great that we are bringing to light some of these monsters out here, and they are monsters. They are predators.
Yeah.
And I think that that's great. In 1987, we didn't have social media. We didn't have a Me Too movement. We didn't have everything. The question that I unfortunately get asked all the time is like, well, why didn't you report it? And I challenge anyone to be in my shoes and tell me what they would do when you have 4 huge football players essentially beating the mess out of you, violating you in ways that you had never, ever experienced before, just tearing you limb from limb. And when I was thrown out of that apartment,
then threw you out.
And then I just started running. We talk about adrenaline, and I still remember that feeling.
Yeah.
It was something else was, taking over me. And the security guard stopped me and knew what happened, brought me to the hospital. And this is all in the film as well. 2 of the worst police officers ever existed.
I don't even want you to tell me that, because that's making me upset.
Yeah.
Well, when you watch the film, you'll be upset.
Hold on one second. Caller, you're live.
Hey, good morning. I have a question. When did you realize you gained your strength back from everything that you went through? Because a lot of women go through trauma and don't find that strength to talk about it, or even let alone make a movie about it. So when did you find your strength at?
Good question.
I think I found my strength when my relationship with God became stronger.
Okay.
I hated God.
Oh.
I hated God.
Because how could he let something like this
how
happen
could
to
you
me?
let
Yeah.
something happen?
Yeah.
What did I do to deserve this? And that was like maybe the first. And thank you for that question. That was like 20. I drank every day for 30 years.
Wow.
I drank every single day for 30 years.
Self-medicate.
Self-medicate. I didn't want to feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't want to feel.
Yeah.
I didn't want anything to rattle me. And I was a happy person when I drank, right?
Yeah.
I've been sober, thank God, now going up on 8 years, and I'll never touch the bottle again. But it was my husband, and it was really allowing God to reveal my purpose in all of this.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever be healed.
Yeah.
I don't think that the trauma is ever going to go away.
Yeah.
I don't think that the PTSD is ever going to go away. You'll see at the end of the film how, Nikki kind of manages that PTSD, and I still do that to this day. It doesn't go away, but you have to trust that the journey is bigger than you.
Yeah.
Why I'm here is bigger than me. I can, I don't know. Tomorrow's not promised, but I know that for today, Tonia's going to be the best that she can be. She is going to do all that she can to be the best that she can be. And that doesn't mean I don't have days where I stay in bed all day long, all day long.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I don't know where it comes from, but I know that it's in me, and I just have to continue to pray and just do what I
Show
can,
up,
do
yeah.
the best that I can.
Yeah.
That's
I think
beautiful.
I think it's amazing. I'm excited about the film. We're gonna put the film link in the actual comment section so people can go. We'll make it easier for you guys to go and support this project. But watch it right after you get after the show. It's 20 minutes. We've done a lot less. Support. Write a comment. Subscribe to the page. like it. Whatever it needs to do to kind of bounce it up where it needs to go. You guys have sat down and
share
listened.
it.
Yeah.
And we
listen
have
to the story.
merch.
Oh.
And we have merch.
Let's see it.
Yes, thank you so much, Tonia, for being vulnerable.
Yes,
know.
I
And
mean-
brave and
Ooh, a hat.
So we got hats.
I
y'all.
love- oh,
I
that's
don't know if you
nice.
can see this. We have hats,
Yeah.
right? So you can go to hobeproductions.com. You can get your hat, $25. It helps support the distribution of this film and how we want to continue to get this film out. And we have these beautiful t-shirts.
Shirts. We're gonna all have them on tomorrow.
I was gonna ask you, do you speak? Do you go to schools and do you speak?
I have been on a couple of speaking engagements, and I'm happy to do so with this film, because I think that, you know, we have to realize that this is still an epidemic.
Yeah.
It's not a problem, it's an epidemic.
Yeah.
And I met a woman who came to the premiere yesterday, and she just came up to me on campus and just cried and just like fell into my arms.
That's so powerful.
And she's like, something like that happened to me. And all I could do was just hold her.
Yeah.
You know,
because that's also probably reliving what you went through to see her raw pain.
When you did one out of every 5 women, think about the ones that don't report it, because the 1 out of 5 only reflects the people, and men, 1 in 5 only reflects the people who have reported it.
That's
I'm not
scary.
part of that statistic.
I was going to ask you, so did any prosecution or anything?
No,
because he's good and free with his many children.
He's gonna be persecuted.
I mean,
on the
you know,
day
you don't.
when it's supposed to happen.
Karma has a way of doing what it needs
Having his
to
kids
do.
was probably a trauma for him.
Four daughters,
and you know,
and 4.
He has to be scared of that every day.
That's why he has
for the rest of his life. Yeah. Somebody here said, one of our commenters said the University of Miami football team was like a professional team back in the 80s and 90s. And he said, I can see how one person couldn't, would be intimidated by bringing that down by herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tonia, thank you so much for being here and telling our audience your story.
Yes.
They stayed locked in the whole time because it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's real. You're here. You're from Boston. You are, a hero, and you're bringing greatness out of a terrible, horrible situation. And we do hope that it goes to the heights in which it needs to go, so that it can at least be a conversational piece for better behaved individuals. Terrible. Yeah. Horrible.
Hell Bay Productions, impact, inspire, inform. And in these minutes that we've talked to you, I feel all of those things. So thank you very much.
How was your parents when they found out?
Oh, that could take another 20 minutes. I mean, immediately after I wasn't released from the hospital, I just left and I went to the Miami International Airport, and back then you had like paper tickets and it was like an open-ended ticket, and I just waited to get on standby because the only thing I wanted to do was get back to my mom.
Yeah. A mother's love.
I can't imagine.
Well, we're gonna end on a great note. Again, where can we find the film? Where can we go to? How can we follow you? How can we support? Give us the whole rundown.
Sure. So on YouTube, go to the Hull Bay Productions media channel. It is the featured film on there. Do You Remember Me? It's only 20 minutes, and I promise you that it's going to do something for you. Everybody knows someone who has been through this. You can visit us at hullbayproductions.com. You can see some of the other projects that we have going on. You can get your merch, hats,
get your merch.
Get your merch, hats, and is going to extend this into a foundation so that other women and men and whomever can tell their stories as well. So buying these t-shirts is a message that we're going to put forward. You can follow me on Facebook, Tonia Magras, on Instagram, Tonia Magras, and if you you can hit me up on the website. And I just appreciate this time. I appreciate all of you for giving me this opportunity to just talk about my story and this film, and it will be developed into a feature length. So stay tuned for that. I'll be back.
I also want to give a big shout out to your husband, Greg.
Yeah.
Because the way you speak about him is beautiful, and it takes a hell of a man to be in that position. And so I'm so glad that you guys
God sent him to me.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Thank you.
We got to slide to the side. We got to pay some bills a little bit over our time, but we'll be right back with you. Tonia, we'll see you soon. All her information is in the comment section. Keep it locked right here, Spark FM. Thank you.
Thank you.